Let's start again. Okay, this is third attempt at making this video. Um, so I am I'm probably not gonna upload many videos for like a week or so, um, because of the nature of the thing I'm doing. So um, let's try to explain this and not sound completely insane this time. So the way that blockhead, the very, very general way that blockhead is sort of organized is we have the audio thread or the audio engine or whatever. Then we have this like background processing thread, which is responsible for, okay, so I basically dispatch actions to this background processing thread. The actions are like add block, add envelope point, remove envelope point, delete block, that kind of thing. So they all get just pushed onto this queue, and then this background processing thread just processes this queue of things and generates a model for the audio thread. So that's that. And then we have what I'm actually working on right now, which is like the main or the UI thread, and the business logic of blockhead. Which all happens in the main thread. So yeah, that was part of the problem last time a minute ago when I tried to record this video. I got really stuck trying to define what the phrase business logic means. So if you don't know what business logic means, just go fuck yourself. So blockhead from the start was like written in this like really object-oriented style. And the way that data flows in an object-oriented system is something like this. Which is okay for some types of applications. I'm not like one of these. I know it's very trendy these days to shit on object-oriented programming. But I don't know. We all know what object-oriented programming is, and the spaghetti code that it leads to. But anyway, somewhere along the way of working on Blockhead, I learned about this thing called unidirectional data flow architecture, I think it's called. Is that right? It's something like that anyway. And the way that looks is you have like this model, which represents like the entire state of the program. And then you like dispatch actions to the model. So the classic diagrams that people draw of UDA is not actually very accurate. So you have like a bunch of code, right? You dispatch actions to this sort of system which updates the model, right? And it also like generates, well, the way I do it is I generate more. I think sometimes they're called effects. In value-oriented programming land, I dispatch these. I create these things called effects, which update the view, and then they also generate these things, whatever these are. These actions for the background process, and then so the view is updated, and then you have the user who comes in and interacts with the view, which generates more actions. So it sort of goes around as the flow of data is sort of a circle, rather than a horrible spider web. So again, I'm not one of these like super dogmatic anti-object oriented programming people, but what I will say is in the case of Blockhead, the style of software that Blockhead is. Once I did this is like the main thing that I was working on last year. I think was moving over to this sort of architecture, and this turned out to be like one of the best things that I've ever done in my life. It was such a good idea to do this, but what I have ended up with is 99% or 95%, I would say, of the business logic of Blockhead is now organized in this sort of a style. But I was able to get away with not refactoring the parameter and manipulation, the business logic side of the parameter and manipulation system. So that is still in this old object-oriented style. And so what I have at the end of the day is I still have this a little bit of a spider web down here, and then the flow of data looks something like this, right? So what I'm working on is to finally eliminate this last part of the object-oriented spider web that I had before and move everything into the UDA. Because if I don't do that, things are just going to, this is like not sustainable. It's just going to blow out and blow out and blow it out. The more I try to like live with this, things are going to get more and more, because every one of these lines connecting this object-oriented world to this nice unidirectional data flow architecture world, every one of these lines is basically like a little hack in and of itself to connect these two worlds. And that's just like a source of confusing code. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. I think I just ended the video there. I don't think I'm going to show any actual coding because it's just I'm just doing refactoring. But yeah, what I will say is, man, I'm feeling positive about this this refactor. It's feeling very like in the past, like typically with Blockhead, big refactors in Blockhead. I mean, for a start, this isn't a really massive refactor compared to other refactors that I've done, but yeah, it's not that common in Blockhead to feel like I know exactly what I'm doing. And in this case, I feel like I understand the system. I didn't understand all of these systems well enough to understand exactly what I'm doing, and it's just a case of writing the code now. And what was I going to say? I don't know. Lost my train of thought again.